Hello and welcome to episode 222 of the Casual Try Hard podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm James.
And we are talking March of the Machines cards today. Hopefully this is the whole March of the Machines pre-set, I don't know, set review. That's the word I was looking for. But it might be a two-parter because we're old and easily become tired.
Yeah, we have I think we've got like 50 or 60 cards to get through, so I wouldn't count on this being all tonight. Might bleed into next week.
Part one today.
Well, technically part one was last week.
Yeah, part one was somehow our limited set. And if you listen to the pod, you got the very first ever like Brian errata of what he was about to say. When we talked about Halo Forger, Brian from the future came in and was like, "Okay, I've done more Twitter reading.
Yeah,
I was wrong.
Yeah.
The first Twitter reading I did was wrong. So, but
glad we got
so we're gonna talk
out,
about that. Yeah, we got to straighten out. But if you wanna get at us on social media, tell us. I don't think we missed any cards. If we got 50 cards, we got like a sixth of the set.
Yeah.
I don't think we missed any. But if you want to get us about your thoughts of the cards, all those links are in the description below. Check all those out.
Yeah, let us know what you think. If you're looking to support the show, there's a couple ways you can do it. The first is with our TCG player affiliate link, CasualTryHard.com/TCG. That's right, that's a new link. So don't use the old one anymore because it doesn't work.
We've got to fix the email address at some point.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we have to do, and we probably should have talked about that in the pre-show when we didn't. So maybe next week I'll try and remember to put that on the docket.
Professional podcasters.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, if you're gonna buy any singles from anything really, but the new set, head on over to TCG Player. They got pretty good prices usually, quick shipping. That's where I typically order from anyway. And if you use our TCG Player affiliate link, then you can help support the show at the same time. Navigate on over to TCG Player using that link, CasualTryHard.com/TCG, and then anything you purchase after that, we will get kickback for. Help keep the show going, pay all our fees. And we're it seems like we're accumulating more fees lately, so we would appreciate it if you use the link. Yeah.
Boo fees.
The other way you can support us is directly through Patreon, patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG. Patrons get early access to some kind of tidbits for the show. I usually put the show notes out on the show notes, and our pre-show get published to Patreon on Wednesday. So you get about another hour of content out of us in our pre-show where we talk about just kind of whatever's going on in our lives, whatever is going on with Magic, whatever. But you get to listen to it. And like I said, you get to take a peek at our show notes so you know what we're going to be talking about the following week. And then patrons also get put on my mailing list for when I have givebacks to send out to you guys. If any of that sounds good, or you just feel like supporting the show, we would appreciate it if you went to patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG and you chip a couple bucks in.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're accumulating fees lately, so all the help we can get.
Not good at all.
Yep.
Yeah, so we should probably get into this, huh?
Yeah. I'll since we didn't talk about it in the pre-show, I will preface this by saying we have a lot of cards to get through. So if you feel like some of these aren't particularly interesting to you and you want to skip them, raise a hand, holler at me, whatever, and we will.
Okay.
We can skip them.
Flail arms wildly.
Yep. No.
Not that one.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can see Brian flailing his arms wildly.
Yes.
Wacky inflatable arm guy.
I've been called worse.
Yep. Me too.
All right. So
ready to get into this?
Let's go. I am prepared.
All right. First up, we have white cards. We're going to lead with Archangel Elspeth. 2 white For 4 loyalty, legendary Planeswalker Elspeth. +1 is create a 1/1 white soldier token with lifelink. -2 is put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. It becomes an angel in addition to its other types and gains flying. And -6 is return all non-land permanent cards with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield.
So I was looking. So on one hand, this is kind of Elspeth Knight Errand, right? Like the plus same mana cost, same loyalty, same +1 as Elspeth Knight Errand, except for this one, Archangel Elspeth, the token has lifelink. All that to say that Elspeth Knight Errant has been playable in like 7 years, 8 years. Now granted that like it's limited to kind of like modern, but I don't know if this has enough oomph in modern Magic to get the job done. And Elspeth's like jump ability is Elspeth Knight Errand was only till end of turn,
right?
But it was also a +1.
Yeah, I mean this is permanent.
Yeah, I kind of want to look like. It just feels like they hate paper Magic because, like, and it just gains flying, not a flying token or counter. Right. Just now it flies.
Yep, and like, and is an angel.
Yeah, like how do I track this?
It's a great question.
Like this just seems like.
Do you remember back in was it the winter of Oko or the fall of Oko? People were making those custom like elk tokens that you could see through to like overlay on a card.
Yeah. Do you remember when people made the like custom zombie tokens
for
Scarab God?
Yeah.
When it was like this is hard to track.
Yep.
Like this just seems like impossible to track.
Yeah.
Like, are there yeah, I was checking Oracle, or Gatherer. Yep, second ability, till the creature leaves the battlefield, has no duration. So it wasn't like it was a typo or something.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, you're not tracking this. You only play on Arena anyway, you idiots. so no, you don't.
Well, I mean, maybe if it's not particularly playable, it doesn't matter. I thought this card was good.
Like, I don't know. It's like the white decks don't want. I don't think the white decks want this, and I don't know what other deck like would want this. Like, it's not going to see Eternal format play. I don't think.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense. It's not really archetypal for the current white decks.
Yeah. No, I did. I think Christos in our Discord was like, "This would be awesome," and like as a sideboard card for like Greasefang. Like ++ alt and get your Greasefang back.
Oh yeah, that's cute.
So like it's a source of bodies, and then you just get to be like, whee! And you get to do your thing.
Yeah.
So like that's interesting. I wonder if they're gonna be good people and make just a 1/1 angel. They can get with flying. They can get 2 +1 counters. So you just swap your soldier.
Yeah, probably not. You could use the one from Modern Horizons though.
Okay.
But I guess that wouldn't be legal though, because it's an actual card.
Yeah, but it would need to be like a 1/1 flying angel with lifelink.
Oh yeah, I think that one's Vigilance.
Yeah, because this doesn't lose lifelink.
Yeah.
That you can put +1/+1 counters on.
Yeah.
Make the token, wizards.
I mean, I could make a token.
Done. I think we have our Patreon give back. Okay, this card has to be huge. Best card. Everyone needs to buy 4 copies so we can make a token for it.
We got a lot of tokens to give up before I'm ready for 1/1 angels with flying and lifelink.
Fair.
And well, it doesn't lose soldier either, so it'd be an angel soldier with lifelink.
Oh yeah.
And flying.
In addition to his an angel, just the longest token.
Yep.
Just the longest. I don't know, I think it's probably a decent standard card,
Mhm.
right? But like I don't know if it has like a home,
Yeah.
right? It's
That makes
not going
sense.
to replace the Wandering Emperor until rotation.
That's correct.
So like it's not playable until October
Yeah.
or September or whatever. Um and like the aggressive white decks don't want any part of this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is very different than Wandering Emperor, though, because Wandering
Oh,
Emperor is
it
like a
is.
removal spell that then turns into a Planeswalker, and this is not that at all.
No. No, but like if you have like a 4 mana, if you have a spot in your deck for a 4 mana white planeswalker,
Yeah.
right? I think you would rather, even in like the aggressive creature decks, would rather have something that is a removal spell
Yeah.
that then pumps out 2/2s
That makes sense.
and then makes them hard to block.
Mhm.
Where as opposed to you just have a thing that like, now granted, I guess you can win games if you go like what is it called? The O4, the Star 4? Not Redain. You know, the Star 4 that makes a 1/1 when it attacks and has power
Oh,
equal
yeah,
to the number
yeah, yeah.
of
Adelaine?
Adeline.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you like play Elspeth and then you like Adeline your thing,
Mhm.
or then hit your Adeline and it's just huge and flying.
Yeah.
Also, all of the things that you target become angels as well. So now your Adeline's an angel.
That's true.
Like untrackable nightmare.
Yeah.
Um so maybe it's a cyborg card in the white decks because like the ultimate would then like get back all the stuff that like, well, not that Ravs now put cards in graveyards, but
Yeah.
in theory, if you got Wrathed, like I don't know, some red damage based thing, and then you got everything back. So maybe the red decks is like a sideboard option.
All right.
But
Moving
like
on. Oh, sorry.
moving on.
You had one more thought?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No, we're good.
All right. I think you had wanted to talk about this one, right?
Dusk Legion Duelist, 1 and a white for a zombie soldier. Oh, sorry, vampire soldier. There we go. With vigilance, and whenever it's a 2/2, and whenever one or more +1 counters are put on Dusk Legion Duelist, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. That's a wild line of text.
Especially like given the cards that have been printed lately, because
Yeah,
it seems like something white is really good at is like putting a counter on a thing once a turn.
I mean, was it Siege Captain?
Mm-hmm.
Siege Veteran? Siege Veteran. The 3 mana thing that puts a counter on something.
Yeah.
At the beginning of combat. So you just go Dusk Legion Duelist into Siege Veteran, put a counter on it.
Yep.
Draw a card. And if this dies, Siege Veteran makes 1/1s for your trouble. Like it's so remember we went through that phase where red decks had all this like card advantage between, right? We had light up the stage and experimental frenzy.
Yeah.
And now we have like reckless impulse, right? And it used to be that you would play against a red deck, and if you made it to turn 4,
you ran them out of cards, you were kind of
gas,
safe.
right? And like now red decks, like you get to turn 4, they still have like 2 or 3 cards in hand.
Yeah.
Right, because there's just all these ways for like red to get incidental card advantage.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same thing, right? You used to be like, oh, it's fine. Like I'm just gonna like get to like turn 3 or 4. I'm gonna cast my sweeper. They're going to like be down a bunch of cards. And it's like, well, no, they drew 2 cards by the time you got to turn 4.
Yeah.
And so now you're trading not really 1 for 1. You're actually down cards.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're up mana, but you're down cards and then just kind of rebuild.
Right.
It's just weird. It's a powerful effect. It had to be a vampire soldier, because how good would this be if it was a human?
Oh yeah.
Right?
You're
Like,
nuts with Ellie's lieutenant.
yeah, exactly. Like Thalia's lieutenant, boom, draw a card. Like,
Yeah.
if you went like champion of the parish into this is a human into like Thalia's lieutenant, and you're just like, oh, okay, well, like the game's kind of over now.
Mm-hmm.
So I see why it's a vampire, but it does play with like the soldier's archetype in
Well,
standard.
it kind of plays nice with vampires too, though. Isn't there? Aren't there a couple vampires that like put a counter on every vampire you control?
Yeah, there's I think there's the one from Modern Horizons 1. Is it Cordial Vampire?
When a vampire dies, you put a counter on each
Yeah, I
vampire.
think. And then there's one where you like can sack a vampire and you put a counter on all your
Well,
other
wasn't
vampires
wasn't there just a
from
card in
Innistrad.
Shadows that was like
Yeah,
discard a card, put a counter on every vampire?
maybe that's it. Maybe it's one
Yeah.
and discard or just discard. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, there's definitely ways to make that happen.
Yeah.
Like it like kind of fits all these little niche things. And like if your white deck is just good white creatures,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like this could be the third best white 2-drop,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think it's probably still Thalia, Luminarch, Aspirant. But then what's next? This, right?
Probably.
I mean, not going to modern where then you clearly have Stoneforge.
Esper
But
Sentinel.
Esper Sentinel's a 1-drop.
Well, right, but it's better than.
Okay, fine. It's better than all the other 2-drops too. I will play this on 1 and leave. I'll play this on 2 and leave 1 mana untapped just to prove a point.
I will tap 2 mana for my 1 mana creature.
Yeah, to prove a point. No, but I think this card's really strong. It like works well in the soldier's archetype that we already have.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're a white weenie or like blue-white soldiers player, this card is for you.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I dig it. Next up, we have Knight Errant of Eos. 4 and a white for a 4/4 human knight with Convoke. When it enters the battlefield, you look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal up to 2 creature cards with mana value X or less from among them, where X is the number of creatures that convoked Knight Errant of Eos. Put the revealed cards in your hand, then shuffle.
This card is awkward, right?
It is.
So, on one hand, you want to like convoke it with as many creatures as you can.
Yeah.
So you can get to, ideally 2 3-drops, right? So you want to convoke it with 3 creatures.
Yep.
But in the decks that play this, you want to get them dead.
Correct.
And like to take a turn to be like, instead of getting you dead, I will get card advantage.
Yeah.
Right?
It's also kind of awkward that they go in your hand.
I mean, it would be robusto if you put them onto the battlefield.
I mean, would it though? I mean, it would be good. I don't know that it would have been too good. Like you said, you want to play this in a deck with a bunch of low-cost creatures, so you're not going to like realistically have 3 things and then hope it's a collected company. You're going to play this in a deck full of 1 and 2 drops and then like get 3 mana worth of stuff.
Yeah. And a 4/4 though. Like that's a lot.
I mean, how much better is it than anything else though?
I mean, is it Kayla's Reconstruction? Like the white Sorcery Speed collected company, the white X, right? Like at 5 mana, that puts the creatures onto the battlefield 3 mana or less, and that card's playable.
Mm-hmm.
This would like if you also got a 4/4.
Yeah, I guess so.
Out of it
and Convoke.
Yeah, but like the problem is, what was the Loxodon, whatever his name was?
Yeah.
The
thing was exiled or whatever.
No.
Put a counter on everything that convoked it. Yeah.
Yeah, like that you could like kind of justify not, like passing on that attack.
Right.
right? Because you went like 1-drop, like, and then like on turn 3, you were just like, I'm gonna make my whole team bigger, get this 4/4. Now I can like attack to kill you, right? You would go like 1, 2, like 1, 1, 1, and then just like,
Mhm.
and now you've got a bunch of creatures, and you can and they're bigger. This is like it's the same size body, but your stuff's the same size.
Yeah.
So like, yes, you have a card advantage, but now you're like, I want to make these bad attacks,
Right.
and when you trade off, I get to play more things.
Yeah.
And it's also bad at um like after a wrath, you don't get to get anything because you have nothing to convoke it with.
True.
Right. So like,
Oh yeah, that is awkward that it doesn't really catch you up. Like
yeah,
it's a
like
catch up card that doesn't catch you up.
they're like wrath, and you're like 5 mana 4/4, go. And they're just like fateful
Cool.
absence.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be different like if you got something anyway.
Mhm.
Like if you could like if it was like 1 plus X or something,
Yeah.
where you at least could get 1-drops, but the fact that you have to convoke is just like it doesn't let you catch back up.
Mhm.
Like I guess you could like try to play the game where you're like, I'm not gonna commit anything else to the board, I'm gonna attack. Then I'm gonna make them wrath, and I'm gonna play like creature, then convoke.
What if like all of your 2-drops were like Adanto Vanguards or Seasoned Hellowblades? So
Or they just can't.
yeah, they're like reasonably wrath proof.
The problem with that is like, what is our last wrath that we're gonna talk about?
Yeah,
It
that's true.
exiles.
Yeah.
Right? Farewell exiles.
Yeah.
Like in older formats, it would like that would work against what is it called? Like Supreme Verdict.
Mhm.
But against like kind of a modern wrath where they're just like exile everything, it doesn't do it.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, the card's awkward. It might be like it's hard though, like maybe it's a sideboard card that you like have to kind of like work to make good.
Yeah.
Because like if again after wrath you're able to play like 2 creatures and then get like convoke this and get the best 2 creatures out of your top 6,
Mhm.
like that card's pretty good. But if you don't have creatures in hand, or like you get wrathed and your hand's empty and you top deck this, you're just like, oh my god,
Yeah.
this is so awful.
Yeah.
So
All right, moving on from awful.
Okay.
Phyrexian Censor. 2 and a white for a 3/3. Phyrexian Wizard. Each player can't cast more than 1 non-Phyrexian spell each turn. Non-Phyrexian creatures enter the battlefield tapped.
So like this is a weird Archon,
Mhm.
right? Whatever the Archon of whatever. Like the 2/3 flyer for 3.
Yeah.
So it could very well like kind of fill the same role, but it
Mhm.
doesn't fly, which is a problem, right? That
Correct.
card gets a lot from flying. And this is symmetrical, so like your non-Phyrexians on the battlefield tapped
Mhm.
as well. So I don't know, like it doesn't seem in older formats, it doesn't seem like it's good enough to compete with Archon.
Yeah.
And like in standard, are there enough Phyrexians to like maybe like in the
I mean, there
green
probably
white
is.
toxic deck?
Yeah.
Like in the toxic deck, it's probably pretty good, right? You play this and then they just never get to play a blocker.
Mhm.
They're like blocker, and you're like, cool, who cares? It's tapped, bash you.
So the Archon doesn't have that second bit though, right?
Archon, the land's coming to play tapped.
Yeah. So this would like you could use this as a sideboard card against Storm and also I don't know, like hasty stuff. I guess I'm not sure like what you would use it against, but
It's almost like an Authority of the Councils,
yeah.
which was like good against like kind of like the Gruul hasty deck kind of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure if in older formats if Archon isn't just better.
What about
Because like I think the first line of text is just you can't cast more than one spell each turn.
basically,
Right? The
yeah.
odds of your opponent having a Phyrexian. And then I feel like the second line of text wants you to be an aggressive Phyrexian deck.
Mm-hmm. Which I mean, I guess is a
Um,
thing. Could be a thing in standard, right? The toxic deck, everything's
yeah.
Phyrexian.
I mean, there's a couple things that make me think that oh gosh, what are they called? Changelings.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a card that like if you're playing a bunch of changelings
You put it
for
in your dwarf tribal deck.
your dwarf insect deck.
tribal, yeah.
Yeah, like something like that where like it doesn't impact you at all. You're just like, yeah, cool, whatever. Like this slows you down.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, this is great if your opponent like drops a Muxus and you're just like, haha, they're all tapped. None of those are Phyrexian goblins.
That's right.
But
what about the fact that this is an uncommon? Like, does this have ramifications for Peasant Cube?
it could, like, if you want that effect in your cube, but like, because in like most cubes, it's probably gonna just read like you can only cast one spell a turn.
Creatures on
Like
the
it's a
battlefield
deafening
tapped.
silence, and all your creatures on the battlefield tapped.
Yeah.
But like, if there aren't a lot of Phyrexians for the person who takes this card to build around, like, how good is it that everyone's creatures enter the battlefield tapped?
It's true. It's
I
awkward
don't
for like
know.
a turn.
Yeah, but like, because like the ideal sense is you want to go like 1, 2, 3, play this. Your opponent doesn't get to play their 3 mana blocker untapped.
Mm-hmm.
You like attack and then you play your creature untapped.
Yeah.
You're like you're like your 3 and your 1 or your 4 drop, and now like their next creature comes into play tapped, and you're like, you're always basically taking on a blocker.
Yeah.
But like if you're all, I guess if you're losing your blocker, it might not matter as much, just because you're just attacking every turn.
Yeah. You're.
I don't know. It could have a home.
Yeah.
I had not thought about it finding its way into the cube, but interesting.
All right. Next up, we have Scroll Shift. 2 and a white for an instant. Exile up to one target artifact, creature, or enchantment you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. Draw a card.
Is this feels like it's another card, isn't it?
I don't think we have a flicker that draws a card, do we?
Wasn't there like a blue one, or is that like Siren something?
That drew a card?
Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe that was only a creature.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Like the fact that it draws a card is good. I'm trying to look it up right now.
Yeah.
So
Blur.
acrobatic maneuver. 2 and a white, exile target creature you control, return that card to battlefield, understand, draw a card.
Yep.
So this gets to hit more types.
Yep.
And draw a card.
Yeah, it's artifacts and enchantments also. Yeah, acrobatic maneuver and blur are both the exact same card.
Yeah, just different colors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like where the value like comes in is probably the additional types.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like if there is like particularly an enchantment that you want to flicker.
Yeah.
That could be worthwhile.
Reset your sagas.
Oh, that's a good point. Reset your sagas is good. I
guess it works pretty well with the Kamigawa sagas too, because it not only does it reset them, it flips them back over.
Mm-hmm. It also could let you reset a battle. Like if you flipped a battle.
Oh yeah, if you flipped it into a creature,
and it's a creature, then you blink it and it would come back as the battle. So that could be interesting.
Yeah, that seems like an awful lot of work though.
It does. It does.
You really got to be slugging it out with somebody for that to matter, I think.
Yeah.
For you to like kill a battle twice and not kill your opponent instead.
Very true. But like blink, or like if you were to blink, oh gosh, Invasion of Innistrad.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The creatures the backside is an enchantment. So you could blink it and then get the neg 13 again.
Mm-hmm.
And then presumably kill your opponent, like buy an extra removal spell out of it.
Yeah.
Trying to think, like in standard, like what are the things that you want to blink that you're willing to pay 3 mana for? Because like acrobatic removal never saw any standard play.
Right.
And I feel like standard now is way more powerful than Kaladesh standard.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So like this does neat things, but I don't know if it does enough.
Mm-hmm.
So
I guess, like, how much is the draw card worth? Like Ephemerate's above right at 1 mana without draw card.
Yeah.
So the rate for that is like 1 mana, not draw card.
Ephemerate draws a card though. It just draws an Ephemerate.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. There just a like is it Cloud Shift? Cloud Shift. Cloud Shift is 1 mana, flicker a creature.
Mm-hmm.
So Cloud Shift is what you're talking about.
Okay.
So Ephemerate drawing a Cloud Shift that draws a Cloud Shift and casts it for free. Too good.
Mm-hmm.
Right? A 3 mana a Cloud Shift that draws a card. Like it feels like that should like
is that a sorcery though or an instant?
It's an instant.
Okay.
So it's this is one of those times where like the fact that we don't have half a mana is a problem. Because at 2 mana that card's probably too good, right?
Mm-hmm.
1 on the white, flicker draw card.
Yeah.
At 3 mana, it's probably not good enough.
Yeah.
So you know what that means, right? In like 3 sets, we're gonna get scroll shiftier, and it's gonna be 1 on the white, and then we'll be like, oh my god, this is too good.
Well, so what's equivalent to draw a card in terms of scry? Like scry 3?
Scry 2 or scry 3, but like
2.
we have Flicker of Fate, which is 1 on the white, exile a creature or enchantment, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't even you control, but that doesn't have a draw card. So like it's somewhere in that like 2 to 3, like 2.5 mana range.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I don't think it's good enough for standard. Like I think it's a fun card.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're gonna do silly stuff with it in limited, but I don't know.
Like I don't necessarily think that all of the, because some of these cards were pulled from our listeners too, and I know there's a lot of like people that play other formats, cubers and
Cube. Yeah, we have this
Pauper
is from
and
Cube Aficionado.
Yeah,
like the problem with like Pauper is like Cloud Shift exists, and
right.
so does Ghostly Flicker.
Yeah, and I mean both of those obviously work in Cube also.
Yeah. But like I don't know, like if you have like some weird like draw 2 archetype or something.
Mm-hmm. Or like you said, if you're trying to reset sagas, which is kind of tough to do with this card in particular, or this type of card.
Yeah. Because like you could get the trigger would go on the stack for the 3rd thing. Then you could flicker it. And then reset it. So that's interesting because like all the like the Kamigawa sagas, all the like flicker a creature things still reset it.
Mm-hmm.
But this could get like Elspeth Conquers Death,
right?
And then you could reset it.
Yep,
that could be interesting. Or what is he called?
Eldest Reborn.
Finding the Old Gods.
Finding the Old Gods. Yep.
Yeah. Abzan Unplayables. Here we go.
Here we go. Full of siege rhinos.
full of siege rhinos. Hey, that's a deck full of siege rhinos. There we go.
And then this is the Wrath you were alluding to, right?
Yes, Sunfall. 3 white for a sorcery. Exile all creatures. Incubate X, where X is the number of creatures you exile this way. So when I first read this, I thought you got a bunch of incubates with 2 counters on them.
Yeah, no.
But no, you just get one big incubate.
Mm-hmm.
You get one thing with, if you exiled 4 creatures with 4+1/+1 counters on it.
Yep.
I mean, not as flexible as Farewell, but comes down a turn sooner.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, leaves you a way to win the game.
Well, so it leaves you a way to win the game that is kind of protected.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not a creature until you want it to be. So you can, like, wait to build your defenses up and then make it a creature. Or if you know your opponent's defenses are down, you flip it on your next turn and swing.
Yeah. And now they're on a clock and they have to defend. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know we've gotten like some pretty good Wraths lately, but like 3 white used to be going right for destroy all creatures.
Mm-hmm.
So
and this is better than destroy. It's exile. So
right.
Like, even
and like you said, it leaves behind a big.
Like Siege Veteran, which we talked about with our vampire guy.
Mm-hmm.
It when a soldier with a counter dies, you get a 1/1. Well, when they're exiled, you get nothing,
right?
And you like it. And so,
well, I mean, you don't have to like it, but you don't have a choice either.
Yeah, but you get so this gives you a way, like, to get around some of that, like, built-in protection.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a huge Boo Hoogland fan, but a while back he tweeted out, like, what's your favorite flavor text on a Magic card? Mine is indestructible. Because, like, think about how many things have how many things just, like, randomly exile things now.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, this thing has indestructible. Wait till they get to, like, inexilable or something.
Yeah.
This creature could not be exiled. But it
well,
can
I
be
mean, we kind of have that, though, right? Like, there's creatures you can cast from exile.
Squee!
Yeah. Or,
Squee.
What was the Eternal Scourge?
Eternal Scourge.
I
forgot how, like, difficult that card was to deal with in Limited.
Yeah.
And a couple people got it in Shadows. I was like, what am I supposed to do? I can never kill this. Like, I can't attack into it, and I can't target it, dear God.
Yep.
But, like, I think Farewell's going away. And with Farewell, and with it, a lot of the enchantments and artifacts that Farewell was there to exile, right? So, like, you lose all the Kamigawa sagas.
Right.
You lose the new Capenna vehicles, like Record or Bankbuster.
Yeah.
Right? This, just, like, getting everything is pretty good.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to lose the Populate. We're going to lose the Populate, so, like, your Wrath is just going to come down a turn sooner.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, in older formats, I don't know how, like, important getting enchantments and artifacts are.
Well, I mean, in older formats, you don't really want to spend 5 mana on your Wrath.
But, so, in, like, Pioneer / Explorer, right? Farewell sees a ton of play in blue-white.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know,
right, but Farewell, like, not only exiles everything in play, but it also nukes graveyards.
It's the graveyard, which is a big deal. Yeah. Fair. So. All right. So that's all the white cards, right?
That is all of the white cards. Moving on to blue. We have... Oh, that's still a white card. Chrome Host Seed Shark. 2 and a blue for a 2/4 Phyrexian Shark with flying. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, incubate X, where X is that spell's mana value. What do we think about Chrome Host Seed Shark?
It's like the living, flying Shark Typhoon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't... like, it's not as good as Shark Typhoon, I don't think.
No. I mean, you have to like pay mana for the creature
Mhm.
later on, but uh, I think we've all had like a Wrath cast when a Shark Typhoon is out and they make the shark and then the shark immediately goes away.
Right.
Here, if you have to Wrath, it's awkward that your Chrome Host Seed Shark goes away, but you're still left with
A
the
4/4.
incubate that you can do something with.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4/4 or 5/5, whatever. Um, it seems slow,
There is.
right?
Yeah, this thing's glacial.
Which is like the kiss of death in like modern Magic.
Right.
I'm going to accrue value over time. That's cute. I'm going to accrue a value as I kill you. It's like, oh, well,
Yeah, my card
well,
advantage is the cards in your hand when you're dead.
also my one drop deals you one, puts a +1/+1 counter on a thing, and then attacks you for 2. Okay, neat.
Yeah.
I play 2/4. It blocks. Shock it after blocks.
Yeah, this
Dang
thing
it.
is like oddly statted also, right? Like a 3-mana 2/4 flyer.
I feel like they were like, we've got to make this thing be able to block because if we don't, like, there's no way anyone can play this. Like, if it were a 2/2, like, it's just unplayable,
Yeah.
right?
It also conveniently lives through like all of the red sweepers.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. You could
Yeah.
like, there's the new 3-mana deal 2 or like wheel your hand.
Mm-hmm.
So like it as 2/4, you can like wrath their board and get a three power incubate.
Yeah. Or Brother's End or whatever.
Brotherhood's End.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That card says destroy all artifacts, mana value 3 or less. So like you build up all these incubates and your opponent's just like blow them all up.
Yeah, I mean, or you choose deal 3 damage instead, and then you get an incubate out of it.
Well, no, not that you have a stroke and like kill all your own incubates, but like the fact that like your opponent can just like bring that out of the board and like snipe like the incubates you were like your little army that you were putting together.
Yeah.
Because it also gets the creatures,
Yeah.
right? Like you flip it and they're just like, yeah, kill them all.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, okay. The upside is like if you like have a couple incubates and then like say you sweep the board
Mm-hmm.
and even this thing dies, your incubates effectively have haste. So you can just be like,
Right.
attack you for 8, like out of nowhere
Mm-hmm.
on like a relatively empty board.
Yep.
I know, like it's just for constructed, it seems like it's slow.
Yeah.
And like it almost feels like Third Path Iconoclast is like a better version of this.
Yeah.
It's
And
smaller,
didn't
but
we
you start
have wasn't Poppet Stitcher 3 mana and like kind of did a similar thing
made
and
2/2 decayed zombies.
Yeah.
And then made them 3/3s without decay.
Yeah. And like that card saw no play, so
yeah, this is in that same vein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cool card, but I don't think it's good enough.
It is, but I don't think it's going to see a whole lot of play.
Yeah. All right, next blue card. We have Afara's Dispersal. 2 and a blue for an... Oh, what'd you say?
I think this might have been one of mine.
Okay. Well, do you want to take it then?
Sure. So it's 2 and a blue for an instant. This spell costs 2 less to cast if targets an attacking creature. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Surveil 1.
Surveil 2.
Surveil 2. Fading Hope saw a lot of play.
Oh yeah.
And when there are creatures attacking, this is just Fading Hope that looks at more cards.
Right.
Like this seems like a pretty powerful effect. And like at 3 mana, it's not awful. But if you're like some sort of flyers deck, right, and like it doesn't do them any good to like block because they can't, and they're just like, well, I guess I have to attack with my 2-drop, and you're just like, boom, put it back in your hand, and now they're like behind.
That's right.
And it'll swing a race as well, all for like 1 mana.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Like it seems like it's one of those cards that it's cheap enough that it like works. Like Fading Hope isn't a great card other than the fact that it's 1 mana.
Well,
and
I
the fact
mean,
that this is what
we just said a couple cards ago that somewhere between Scry 2 and Scry 3 is worth a card, right?
Mm-hmm. And this is pretty close to, like, Surveil 2 is probably pretty close to draw a card, especially if any graveyard synergies.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like, as a rule of thumb, Surveil 2 is better than Scry 2.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think this card probably will see some play.
Mhm.
And, like, the times you, like, specifically for a matchup where, like, your opponent's attacking,
Mhm.
right? Like, they play their, again, I can't remember, the Star 4,
Mhm.
Adeline. They play
Adeline.
their Adeline, and you just, like, are like, "I'll eat the 1/1, put the Adeline back in your hand."
Yeah.
And, like, now they've gotta spend the whole turn kind of not, like, developing their board,
Right.
and that just gives you that turn that you need. The card seems pretty powerful.
Yep. I agree. Next up, we have Moment of Truth. This was one of yours as well, I believe.
This is, yes.
1 and a blue for an instant. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 1 of those cards into your hand, 1 into your graveyard, and 1 on the bottom of your library.
This is just better anticipate.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the put 1 into your graveyard is a big deal.
Yeah.
Right, we've seen how just randomly putting stuff into your graveyard is good.
Mm-hmm.
I know that, like, Esper Greasefang is not, like, a playable archetype anymore. But if you're, like, turn 2 on your opponent's turn, you're just like, Moment of Truth, find my Greasefang, throw my vehicle in the graveyard,
Mm-hmm.
right? Put whatever I don't care about on the bottom. Like, it sees more cards than Faithful Mending,
Yep.
and, like, you get to pick which of those cards go to your graveyard. Like, it's a
Yeah,
different
Faithful
card than
Mending
Faithful
lets you,
Mending.
yeah, because that lets you get rid of
Yeah.
garbage in your hand, too.
Yeah. But, like, just having that selection,
Yeah.
like, any deck that could play Anticipate, like, this is just better.
Mm-hmm.
And could, like, enable, like, graveyard based decks.
Yep.
Right, where if they're looking for one specific card.
Mm-hmm.
Because it used to be like you would anticipate to look for the card to then Faithless looting,
Right.
or, like, looting into the graveyard. This already has the looting, like, tacked on.
Built in, yeah. Yeah, and
Right,
realistically, like, mill 3 cards, put 1 of them in your hand is almost exactly this, because the chances of you getting, like, 2 cards that you wanted to mill,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like, really,
Yeah.
you're gonna look at 3 cards and want to mill 1 of them.
Yeah, well, that's strategic planning, right? At
Is that,
it's a
yeah,
sorcery. Yeah, so it's look at 3, put 1 in your hand, the rest in the graveyard, right? I think that's
yeah, I think
strategic
so.
planning. Let's see here.
So then this isn't very far from strategic planning, because, like I said,
it's
the chances of you wanting both of those cards in the yard instead of just 1 is...
Yeah, strategic planning. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. So yeah, it is like, and this is an instant where strategic planning is a sorcery.
Right. Yeah.
So, and you're right, like, how many times is it that you wanted both of those cards in your graveyard? Probably very few.
Right.
And this still would trigger, like, a Narcomoeba, because it's
Mm-hmm.
technically going from your
Library to your graveyard.
library to your graveyard.
Also Creeping Chill.
So, yeah, got to get Creeping Chill back into the zeitgeist here. Yeah, so it's kind of like, if you just need sheer number of cards in your graveyard for, like, delve shenanigans, strategic planing's better.
Right.
If you're looking for specific cards to be in your graveyard, I think Moment of Truth is better. And the fact that it allows you to hold up, like, interaction.
Correct.
And just play on your opponent's turn is also pretty powerful.
Yep. All right, moving on, since we have lots of cards to talk about. We have Omen Hawker. It's a single blue mana for a 1/1 Cephalid Advisor, bringing the Cephalids back.
Yeah, man.
And you can tap it to add Wingding Blue. Spend this mana only to activate abilities.
Like
Nykthos.
Yes, like Nykthos. Trying to think of other. I mean, this ability is just generically good, right?
Yeah.
This is also kind of uh, an honorary Eldrazi,
Mm-hmm.
since it gives you Wing Ding for like oh, what's it called? Eldrazi Displacer,
Yeah.
or was it Drowner of Hope?
Oh yeah, I forgot about Drowner Hope.
Yeah, remember that was a modern deck? Ah, simpler times.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like this is a mana dork that taps for 2. It's just powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, can you build your deck in a way to take advantage of it? Like making Eldrazi Displacer like this plus one other mana is pretty good.
Yeah, it seems pretty good.
Um, I don't know if there are any like 3 drops that you could just just tap this to activate their activated ability. Kind of feel like you were doing it, or like if there's a 2 drop that has like a 2 mana activated ability.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know.
Also, don't forget, if you're feeling particularly frisky, you can cycle this mana through any there's a bunch
Oh
of like
yeah, like Mana
pay
Geode or
2.
whatever.
Yeah, like pay 2, get 1 mana of any color, or like pay a
Yeah,
mana,
that's
get a
cute.
mana. Right? Like this lets you cycle that mana through.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like for equip costs.
Oh yeah, it does work well with
Right.
Equip.
So I had there was I've made it red white now, but there was like a blue white, like saffron olive, like equipment deck where like you need to be able to equip your stuff, and this would just let you go like this,
Mm-hmm.
and now you have a way to pay for all your like cheapish equipment,
Yeah,
and it also wears pants fine.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like equipment, and yeah, getting to use like cheat the mana through something else
Yeah.
is a good way. I mean, even if it's like the energy refractor where it's 2 mana to make 1,
Mm-hmm.
like a blue card that,
Now you have a blue Llanowar elf.
yeah, a
Or
blue
blue Birds of
Llanowar elf is,
Paradise, I guess.
yeah, like a blue birds is pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting.
Not that
But
this card will ever see this use case, but it also like you can use it for a candelabra, right?
and then you can untap it with the candelabra.
The candelabra only untaps lands, doesn't it?
Is it only lands?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never played with one, so
I had one once upon a time.
and then you like traded it for a Shivan Dragon and you hate yourself.
Yeah. No, I think I traded it for a couple tropical islands.
Okay, that's a pretty good trade.
Well, I mean at the time tropical islands were only like $15, but
Yeah, I know. Gosh. We could all be retired if we just had a stack of revised dual lands.
Yep.
Um
No, I think this is a cool card though, and
yeah.
the listener that asked us to talk about this specifically called out Nykthos. I'm not sure what like the Nykthos deck would look like. There's obviously lots of mono blue
Shenanigans.
Yeah, but I'm not sure how many of them have like great mana sinks. Like you could play this with like the Jin that like cares about your islands or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's a way to increase your devotion pretty quickly, but then I don't know what you do with the mana. I guess draw a bunch of cards with like a Brain Geyser or something.
I mean, that feels good. Sometimes
Yeah.
all it takes is to feel good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it feels like I don't feel like there's a lot of activated abilities in this set.
Yeah.
This almost feels like it's a plant for something else in the future.
Oh, maybe that's true too.
Where there's gonna be like some weird blue equipment deck in limited because they haven't done that, and like they're hoping to like support it in standard, or there's some like activated abilities matter thing.
Yeah, maybe. All right, next up we have Oracle of Tragedy. 1 in a blue. Oh, go ahead.
As I say, I just gave all the all the commons and uncommons, those are like mostly me because I'm just like, this is neat.
No, we
But go
had
ahead.
some from our listeners too. Like I said, I mean, we've got a lot of people that play lots of different formats. So, this one is Oracle of Tragedy. 1 in a blue for a 1/3 human wizard. It's an uncommon. When Oracle of Tragedy enters a battlefield or dies, choose one, draw a card, then discard a card, or shuffle up to 4 target cards with mana value 3 or greater from your graveyard into your library.
Draw a card, discard a card is powerful.
Yeah, and you get to do it twice?
Yeah, once it comes in and when it dies. Like, now this effect is way more common in blue, but like, think about Rafine's Informant.
Mm-hmm.
Right, this is kind of bizarro Rafine's Informant, where like Rafine's Informant is like the aggressive version of this card.
Yeah.
And this is the defensive version. But again, like if there's something you want in your graveyard, I don't know, maybe a certain 7/7 flying lifelink Death Touch Vigilance
There you go.
creature, like you get 2 looks at it because you're like, play this, and then your aggro opponent has to let you block with it.
Yeah.
Because they can't just be like, I'm not going to attack.
Right.
Right. And I don't know what the other ability is for. After you spent all the time getting cards into your graveyard.
Yeah, why do you want to put them back in your library? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. But I don't know, you're going to mill out, so you're like, put 4 cards back in.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is better that it is there, because there's going to be some point where you're like, I'm really glad I had this ability.
Yeah, I milled my deck. I don't have any cards left, but I really need that collected company.
There's
what about this in like decks that, like the creativity decks that have like a threat?
But the problem is you hit it.
Oh yeah,
with
that's
your creativity.
True. Yeah.
I was gonna say like Nature's Journey is getting played in like modern Oops decks. Now it has flashback, but like that's another thing that you could like. This is a way that if it's in your hand, you could like shuffle stuff back in, or it's like a target for like an unearth or something if you need it. But I think it's more just like enter loot, die loot, and that is powerful. Again, like, can we make Esper Greasefang a thing? Right? Like, this is like
I mean, you have to print some pretty compelling reasons to come off of Abzan at this point, I think.
Yeah. I mean, Ledger Shredder and this are pretty compelling.
Well, right, but Satyr Wayfinder, Grizzly Salvage.
Grizzly Salvage is the big one. The fact that like the deck gets dig through time.
And the fact that your backup is a Chariot.
Yeah.
Like Chariot lets your backup plan be like a regular mid-range deck, where if you're not playing Chariot, you like your backup plan changes.
Fair.
And you're right, Ledger Shredder does work towards that as well, but then you're missing out on another target.
Yeah. And he just eats a fatal push.
Yeah.
And then there's no more ledgers to shred.
Right. All right, moving on. We have Saiba. Maybe that's how you pronounce that.
Sure.
Cryptomancer. This is a 1 in a blue for an 0/1 Merfolk Ninja at common with flash and backup 1 and hexproof. So when it backs something up, it will grant hexproof to the thing that it backed up.
So 1, that ability is pretty decent. 2, they have not printed a 1 or 2 mana hexproof creature in a very long time.
That is correct.
I think the last 1 mana 1 was Glade Cover Scout, and that was in M14.
M14, yeah.
And Solana Ledgewalker, was that the last 2 mana? Oh, there was the green guy. The green 2/1 reach hexproof.
Oh, Basara Archers or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. They have like hard been like, we're not printing cheap hexproof creatures.
Yep.
And this is the first cheap hexproof creature in a while. Now, there is a huge difference between 1 and 2, but having like a blue creature that also is like a trick to maybe save your light paws.
That's what
If
I
you're
was
like
just gonna
blue
say.
white
Yeah.
ores or like save your Saram, right? It's is pretty powerful, and like it saves your thing, and then
Leaves
you put
behind a
pants on it,
hexproof body. Yeah.
right? So like it's kind of half of Invisible Stalker,
Yeah.
right? And like the can't be blocked was a huge deal.
Mhm.
Not saying otherwise, but like there were just decks that were like Invisible Stalker,
Pants.
yeah, and like uh Rune Chainer's Pike or something,
Yeah.
right? Like that was the deck. It was just put on pants and go to town. Now, this, but what is that? Oh gosh. There's a 2 mana enchantment that's like if this creature attacks alone, it's unblockable
I don't
in
remember that
standard.
one.
Um uh oh gosh, what is it? Um it was from Streets of New Capenna.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't remember that one.
yeah, so Basara Tower Archers is the most recent 2
2
mana
mana hexproof.
hexproof creature. And there are only there's Sylvan Caryatid, which has Defender. There's Solana Ledgewalker.
Mhm.
There's Cyber Cryptomancer. Paradise Druid doesn't count.
Yeah.
There's Basara Tower Archer. And kind of Barkhide Troll, but not really.
Yeah.
And that's it. So like this is like the third um the third 2 mana hexproof creature.
Mhm.
So that also is like a combat trick.
Right.
So
Seems good.
that was why it was interesting. Is just
Yeah.
that it is not a
Not something we see.
exactly. It's not something we see very often.
Right.
Um
I think we have one more blue card here.
Okay.
We were on to Zafalrin Shapecraft. 1 in a blue for an instant. Target creature has base power and toughness 4/3 until end of turn. Draw a card.
This is a very solid combat trick.
Mm-hmm.
There was, I think, there was a version of this in, oh gosh, Kamigawa.
Mm-hmm.
It was like super playable because it like also drew a card. I think it made it a 4/4 though.
Yeah.
Like they've printed this card a couple times and it's been playable and limited probably about half the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's actually been an actively good card. Like the draw card goes a long way.
Does.
And sometimes this is +3/+2 in draw card, which is really good.
I mean, it could be more than that if the thing, like, what about this with a double prowess guy?
Oof.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
Although
of
that's
the,
a 3/3 anyway, though, right?
I think.
Yeah.
Like the clever Lumamancer
Mm-hmm.
from
Oh, yeah.
Streets, the double striker, just like
Yeah.
it's a 4/3 double strike, and I'm gonna connive. Oh, now it's got 5 power, take 10,
Mm-hmm.
and I drew a card. Thank you for your service.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we're
You
done.
connive too, so you drew 2 cards.
Yeah, like it's just I've just seen everything. Like you're dead now.
Yeah.
I don't know what the other ones. what the other one's mana cost was. I don't know if they were 2 or 3.
I want to say 3, but I don't know if that's correct or not.
Yeah, I feel like they were 3.
Yeah.
But I am not 100% sure.
I think this, like, for it to see any kind of meaningful play, it needs to be on like a prowess body.
Agreed.
Like, I don't think you're just going to be making random nerds 4/3s. Like, you want to be doing something else also. Like, I guess this is good with Ledger Shredder.
Yes, very true.
Like, that's fun.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like search for the card, and I hadn't cleared out all of the previous things I had set in my in my stuff. And now Scryfall's being goofy, so we're gonna try again. But yeah, I think that they might have been 3 mana, but I'm not 100% sure. So there we go. So the recent ones were so like there's a 2 mana one from Keldheim that became a 5/5 but didn't draw a card.
Yeah.
Suit Up was 3 mana, it became a 4/5 when it drew a card. And that one was playable. That one was actually actively good in the format. And then I think that the like polymorph, the 4/4 in so they've printed it in AFR, Keldheim, at 2 mana, don't draw a card.
Yeah.
And Startling Development, but that just had cycling 1, so it never got cast.
Right.
And then Suit Up was actively good as be a 4/5 and draw a card. So this is probably good. Like, it depends. I guess I don't know if like 3 toughness wins a bunch of fights. Right. Like a 4/5 like gets you through.
Right.
Or at least lets you like bounce at worst. 4/3 might not, but the draw card can't make it that bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think we commented, I don't remember when, at one point, that like the current era of Magic has a lot of like X5s.
Yes.
Which kind of makes this awkward. Like, for any kind of constructed, I mean.
Like, you can't get through a Shieldred.
Right.
But and like even like, oh gosh, like Graveyard Trespasser, like this then makes your thing trade with it.
Right.
Blood Tithe Harvester, you trade with it. So yeah, if it made it 4/4 draw a card, like it would like kind of, or it was like a 3/4.
Yeah.
But being a 4/3 just probably doesn't quite get it there. But I think it's close. But it's funny when you look at the cards, it's like, oh, the first one was 2 mana become a 4/4. Or maybe it was 2 mana become a 5/5. Then 2 mana become a 4/4. Then it's 3 mana become a 4/5. We kind of split the difference and we're going to draw a card for 3 mana. Now they're like, take off 2 toughness and a mana, draw a card. You can see them just like turning the knobs.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I like to do these shows, because we can talk about kind of what the going rate is and how targets change. And
like,
I find that stuff like, interesting.
Like maybe 4/4 draw a card for 2 is too much.
Yeah.
Probably is. But again, we say that now, and then in 3 sets it'll be like 2 mana, 5/5 draw a card.
5/5 surveil 2.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
All right. We're an hour in. I think we can do black.
Sure.
At the very least.
First up in black, we have Archpriest of Shadows. 3 black for a 4/4 human warlock with backup 1. It has Death Touch, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or battle, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. And because all of that is after backup, whatever you're backing up gets that ability.
So you want evasive creatures? So
Well, I mean, Death Touch is a form of an evasive.
So my thought is, if you want to make sure that you get to play this as like a 5-mana reanimation spell,
Mhm.
right? You want some little flyers or something,
Okay.
so that they're hard to block. So then, again, you get your Atraxa back.
Yeah.
Or you're a peasant and you get back your Titan of Industry. Yeah, I couldn't afford Atraxas. I guess we're on Titan of Industry. Right? Because it's kind of a removal spell in that if you have a ground creature and there's an Atraxa in the graveyard, they just have to trade with or be eaten by your creature because they can't beat your Atraxa.
Right.
So I guess I don't know how that deck works, but I mean, I want it to work, but I feel like it has to be a little evasive flyers, and then you use this to get that value. Or maybe you play remember Gix?
Mm-hmm.
And Gix just wants you to deal combat damage to draw cards.
Right.
You play a bunch of little things that are kind of evasive to make Gix good.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to play this, and your little evasive flyer draws you a card and puts another one of your guys back onto the battlefield.
Yeah.
That's probably pretty powerful.
Yeah, I mean, just recurring Death Touchers. If you just have your deck full of Death Touchers.
Oh yeah.
That your opponent has to trade with to get rid of, and then you just keep bringing them back. That's kind of a lose-lose scenario. There's not really.
And you're left with a 4/4 that brings back your Death Toucher even if you don't get in with the first one.
Right.
So, or do they have a bunch of double strikers?
Yeah.
Or first strikers where they just can't they can't block.
Yeah.
And okay, well, this is just a hard trade.
Mm-hmm.
There are sadly no first strike tramplers.
No, there aren't.
Or double strike trampler.
Yeah. All right. Next up in black, we have Bloated Processor. 2 and a black for a 3/2 Phyrexian. Just a Phyrexian. No job here. Just a or a race. Just Phyrexian. Sacrifice another Phyrexian. Put a +1/+1 counter on Bloated Processor. And when it dies, incubate X, where X is its power.
So, the sacrifice a creature with no mana cost is typically very good.
Typically it is. This isn't just sacrifice another creature, though, unfortunately. It has to be a Phyrexian, which is kind of awkward.
Yeah, there aren't that many.
Yeah.
And there are even less good ones.
Well, I mean, all of the mites are Phyrexians.
Yeah.
So if you can make a bunch of mites. And Venerated Rot Priest is Phyrexian.
There are, in all of Magic, there are 126. That's text that says Phyrexian. Let's look at the type line. How many type line creatures Phyrexian do we have? Okay, there are 457 Phyrexians. So there's a reasonable number.
Yeah.
A lot of them are for the most recent couple sets.
Imagine that.
But a lot of them you don't want to sacrifice, right? There aren't a ton of I guess Crawling Chorus. is like the
No, that's
like you
actually a good
sack
one
it
to sacrifice.
and then you make a body
Yeah.
and you get to sack something else. Like that's interesting.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know my Phyrexians well enough to be like, oh hey.
Yeah. You probably don't
do
want to
we
sack your Blightsteel.
no. Or any of your chancellors.
Yep.
Because they've all been eroded to be
Phyrexian.
Phyrexians, apparently.
You probably don't want to sacrifice your Obliterator.
No, it's probably doing the Lord's work of
Yep.
being unblockable.
Yep. Being
And
a
having
4-turn clock.
Annihilator, whatever you being Annihilator, whatever you block me with.
Yeah.
But oh gosh, Blade Splicer is apparently a Phyrexian now.
Okay.
So like that's good. It makes a body on the front end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if there's enough things you want to feed to this.
Yeah.
But right, as we get more Phyrexians.
Well, I mean, are we going to get more Phyrexians? Isn't this story arc kind of done?
Yeah, I guess we won't see any for a while.
Yeah.
In 7 years, when they run out of like Justice League stuff or like I don't know, Ren's Rebellion or whatever the heck we're going to go into next. I feel like we're getting a lot of Rens recently.
I think Ren is dead.
Oh no.
I think Ren and Realmbreaker died.
Okay, I've not looked at the story. Like, who's our Green Planeswalker going to be? We going back to Vivian? Robo Nissa forever?
I think they saved Nissa. I think Nissa was resurrected, uncompleted,
Unrobotized.
That I guess I don't know.
I don't know.
Uncompleted. That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, this is such stakes. This is like even worse than like a Marvel movie. At least I had to wait like a year to find out if they come back.
Yeah.
This are like, oh, they're all robots, and then in 3 months it's like, yeah, no.
Yeah,
Nahiri has hands again.
Does she?
It's like, I think at least in some of the box art she has hands.
Oh, okay.
And for the next set she has hands.
I'm sure we have a whole bunch of listeners that are like throwing things at their cellular phone, I guess. Listening to us butcher the lore for this set.
The lore. It's like, they're not robots, they're completed. It's totally different. It's like they have metal parts.
Dummy, Nissa's totally dead.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Yep.
We are not lore mages.
No, definitely not. Sorry.
Definitely not. So yeah, like they kind of put the cost on bloated processor is a deck building cost.
Yeah, it's a deck building constraint of having Phyrexians.
Yeah, can you find enough of these?
Yeah.
That are good that you want to actually play.
Well, I mean that's also the thing is a lot of decks that want to abuse this effect, like play things that specifically care about when they die or when they're in the graveyard or whatever, because you know you're going to sack them. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how many Phyrexians have that text on them.
Exactly. Like,
yeah,
there aren't a bunch of Phyrexians that are like, when I die, do a thing.
Right.
So
jury's out. We will see.
We will see.
The next black card. Final Flourish.
It's the final flourish.
1 and a black for an instant. Kicker. Sacrifice an artifact or creature. Target creature gets -2/-2 till end of turn. If this spell was kicked, that creature gets -6/-6 until end of turn instead.
This is Severed Strands, right?
Yeah, probably.
Or Severed Thread. Strands or threads?
There was something that was pretty similar to this.
It might the severed one might only be Severed Strands.
Yeah.
It's only set as additional cost to cast. Oh, this is to cast the spell. Oh wait, no. There's another one from Dominaria.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the same thing that had a kicker of sack a creature.
Well, so I put this card on the list. I don't think anybody else cared about it. And the reason I put it on here was because I'm pretty sure it's the only card in the set with kicker.
Yes, I agree.
That's kind of weird, right?
Vicious Offering.
Oh, yeah. Yep, that's right.
But Vicious Offering gives neg 5, where this gives neg 6.
Yep.
I mean, they're doing this now, right? Where they
Yeah.
want to make it so cards are backwards compatible.
Yep.
So, as opposed to like writing out like as an additional cost to cast this, and so it doesn't key off of all the old cards that say like when you kick a spell, get a cupcake.
Right, but isn't
Right.
the joke that like every mechanic is a form of kicker? So are we just like eliminating huge swaths of design space by like making kicker like usable at any point?
Deciduous.
Yeah, instead of having like a kicker set.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But that's all. It was just a thought.
Yeah.
I don't
No, but that
necessarily think this card is like super impactful or
Yeah.
like great design or whatever. I just thought that kicker thing was a little interesting.
Yeah, the fact that you are right that it could be like if we just bring kicker up for everything that could be kicker,
Right.
like do we get Escalate again?
I mean, that's
Or do they just
multi-kicker,
go
right?
like it's kicker? Yeah, it's kicker.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Food for thought. You guys can think about that. While we
We're
talk
thinking.
about
Ooh.
the Ichor Drinker.
Yummy.
Yep. Single black mana for a 1/1 Phyrexian vampire with lifelink. You can pay a black and exile Ichor Drinker from your graveyard to incubate 2. Activate as a sorcery.
This is an okay card to sacrifice to your bloated processor.
It is.
It's
true.
like 2 mana, get an incubate.
Mm-hmm.
And like you don't have to do it right away.
Mm-hmm. Gives you more food. Is your incubate a Phyrexian or is it only Phyrexian on the back?
I think it's only Phyrexian on the back.
Okay. It's not a Phyrexian egg or Phyrexian artifact on the front or anything?
No, unfortunately.
All right. Also, like 1 mana vampires are probably worth looking at anyway.
Especially going into Ixalan.
Yep. Vampire archetype is typically aggressive, but not typically at the 1 mana spot. Like the last 1 mana vampire we had, I think is like $6, and it's a common.
Really?
Yeah, Vampire of the Dire Moon, 1 mana lifelink death touch.
Oh, the lifelink death touch idiot. Yeah. I totally forgot about that card, but yeah, you're right. It is expensive.
Yeah.
I am traumatized remembering that card.
Yep. No, lifelink death touch is very good, and lifelink not death touch is not as good, but this also has extra utility from the graveyard.
So, I think our last 1 mana vampire was Cutthroat Contender from Streets of New Capenna.
Oh, okay.
It's a 1 mana 1/1 that you can pay a life and give it +1/+0. Only activate once. But if you look like Duskworn Sworn Sky Marcher, saw some standard play.
Yep, Sky Marcher Aspirant.
Yeah. Falcon Wrath Gorger.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Saw a little bit of play as a 1 mana 2/1 that had some text that sometimes happened.
Yep.
Falcon Wrath Pit Fighter. Didn't see any play. But it was from AFR.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few 1 mana vampires, but most of them have seen play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Indulgent Aristocrat, as you sack a creature, put up some plus counter on each vampire you control.
Yep.
Insolent Neonate, Knight of the Ebon Legion.
Oh yeah,
you said Sky Marker Aspirant.
Yep.
Stromquirk Noble.
Mm-hmm.
A long time ago, but
yep.
Stromquirk Noble. Visceraseer.
Oh yeah.
Vicious Conquistador.
Yeah. I played a lot of that guy.
Valduran Epicure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you're a 1 mana vampire, I don't know, probably 50% of the time you see some standard play.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy like isn't like super aggressive.
Right.
but like, is that like the you kill my stuff, I have a way to kind of like rebuild
Mhm.
and like make a push the following turn,
Yep.
or like you wrath me and I have the ability to like pay the 1, get the token, then immediately flip it and attack you for 2.
But you can only activate this as a sorcery.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Yeah.
So disregard that last part.
Still, though, I mean, it's
Still,
extra
it, like,
utility out of your 1-drop is always good.
yes. So
And I think we have a couple more black cards here. We are on to Render Inert. 2 and a black for a sorcery. Remove up to 5 counters from a permanent and draw a card.
I feel like it should say 10.
It should say 10.
It should say 10. This is maybe the best way to flip battles.
Mm-hmm.
It draws you a card.
That is why I included it here. I don't think anybody specifically asked for this one.
I like this card for what it does with battles.
Mhm.
Looking, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
It flips most
13,
of them.
14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Did it flip 31 of them out of the 36?
Yeah, I think there was only like 5 or 6 that had more than 5 when we were doing our mechanics episode.
Yeah. So, like, if you are like about the backside of a battle, like this is the way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Also, for the most part, it just reads destroy target planeswalker.
Yes, which is destroy target planeswalker, draw a card is pretty good.
For 3 mana, yeah.
If you're interested in the battle stuff, Saffron Olive did an early access video that was Jund battles.
Okay.
Where he was just flipping them with render inert, like 0 creatures, just render inert, and then the battle that hits other battles.
Okay.
And was flipping them pretty easily.
Yep. This also resets sagas.
True. So if it has 0 lore counters on it, would just get the first one.
It would get the first one, your next upkeep,
okay.
Yep. Or your next main phase, whatever.
Yeah, beginning of your next main phase.
Yep. Is there anything else cool we can do with this?
2 of them flip a Merit Lage.
Yeah, I don't think that's how we're flipping our Merit Lage.
I could cast it and then draw the other one.
You could.
Perfect.
Yep.
I don't know. Like, I think that it is interesting. But like, I think its main uses are battles and planeswalkers. Like the planeswalker thing is great. Like it gets like just about all of them, right? Like even if your opponent like upticked a Teferi, it just eats a Teferi.
It's a little awkward that it's a sorcery.
Yeah.
And I don't know that this would have been too powerful as an instant.
I think in limited, if you attacked and your opponent had a 3 mana and they could flip like a giant battle and just eat your thing.
That's true.
Like that just seems too powerful. Right. What is the invasion of Ikoria?
Yeah.
That just flips into an 8/8.
Yeah.
And you're like, attack, and you're like, dummy. Got you. So yeah. I think as an instant, probably too good, but I think,
well, too good for limited. I don't know that it would have been too good for constructed.
No, I don't think it's too good for constructed. But it is gonna be like, is this like a reasonable sideboard card out of black for like like decks that are planeswalker heavy? I guess it's a little too narrow. Right, like Hero's Downfall is kind of better.
Yeah.
Because it also gets creatures that comes in for more things, but this just seems like it
Is that
Caduce.
like 9 lives Solemnity deck still kicking around anywhere?
Like, what would you do with this though?
Take the
9
counters off
lives
of
gets
9 lives.
counters.
Oh,
Like that's the whole like Solemnity makes it so it can't get counters.
oh yeah, that's right.
You want to go the other way. You want to put
Yeah.
You want to proliferate those counters.
Yeah, you are correct. Sorry about that.
The deck's so traumatizing. Like you usually just like zone out when it's happening anyway. I will say, haven't seen that deck in a while.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, haven't seen it. All right. What else do we have in black?
We have Scornblade Berserker. Single black for an 0/1 with backup 1. And it has pay 1, sacrifice this creature, draw a card. So is this part of a cycle with that other guy? The cryptologist? Cryptomancer?
Cryptomancer?
Yeah, the save Cryptomancer. It was a single.
Oh,
that was
yeah,
one in
maybe.
a blue, right?
It was one in the blue.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
like cheap backup creatures that are 0/1s that are just
creature.
meant to like give the ability to something.
Maybe there's a red one that is a 1/1.
Yeah.
That gives like a sack this thing ability. But I don't think there's another. Streetwise Negotiator is a 2-mana 0/2 in green.
Mm-hmm.
And then no, there's a white one that whenever this creature dies, put its counters on a creature you control.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe there is like it just where they're like spells.
Loose cycle.
Yeah, a loose-ish cycle. So I guess like what would you want to like feed to this? I guess like anything
Shambling
you don't
Ghast?
mind dying. Shambling Ghast, fair. I mean that would be good, right? Like you sack it, like you get to maybe kill something or make a treasure token and get a card.
Mm-hmm.
I think that seems reasonable. Yeah, I wish there's no way to like kind of abuse this.
Yeah.
Right, it's not perpetually. It's not an arena only mechanic.
Right, yeah, it's only till end of turn.
Yeah, but no, I mean but if you did put it on a kitchen finks.
Oh yeah, no.
Right, when it died, it would come back as a different thing.
Oh, that'd be gross.
Yeah, just go through your whole deck. You have some way to like cheat the cost and just like
yeah,
go through the whole thing. I guess like in a sacrifice deck is like a way to get like a value sack. Like what is the unlucky witness?
Mm-hmm.
Like getting this and then getting to like sack your unlucky witness to get 2 cards without having to like have to like kind of like it's like an extra deadly dispute kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Where
this
the
is
extra
also
card
like
you draw is an 0/1.
Kind of an awkward divination, right? Because it's 3 mana, sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. It's yeah, like I think that black card would be 2 mana, right? It'd be like 1 on the black, sack a creature. Like we have that. Something plunder or something.
Yeah, I mean we have like village rights is basically that, and deadly dispute.
Fair. Yeah, we have a million of those. Never mind.
Yeah, but this is like creature version of that. So decks like aristocrat-y stuff that cares about creatures dying.
Mm-hmm. Having the extra body.
Yeah, having the extra body might be worth it.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, it is interesting, but yeah, probably in a deck that like doesn't want to have the spell, just wants to have like as many creatures as possible.
Right.
Oh, could you make like an Amore the Collector sack deck where you like now you have this thing to like you're just like, oh, like my deadly dispute is also a creature.
Yep.
And it's like, and it's a divination on the installment plan.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
Right, because you get one card on turn 2 if you wanted,
mm-hmm.
and then the second card on turn 3, like if you're looking for a land or something.
Yeah. Or if you had like if there was any kind of temporary creature. Like if you had
like maybe something that you unearthed or something.
Yeah, or like a red creature that's going to exile the end of turn anyway, or like I'd say ball lightning, but that's like dating myself, so I'm not going to say ball lightning.
Groundbreaker is a little bit newer.
Yeah, not much though.
Alright, so we have
Skelemental, lightning skelemental.
There we go, lightning skelemental. That's a fresh Modern Horizons card. The kids know that.
Modern Horizons 1.
Yeah. It's a simpler time, Modern Horizons 1.
Yeah.
So we have a big decision to make.
Mm-hmm.
We are an hour 35 in.
Yeah.
Do we call it now and do a part 3 and just go, hey, we got to finish all this next time?
I think we're going to have to do a part 3. We still have all of red, all of green, all of multicolored, all of artifacts, all the double face cards, and the cycles.
Yeah, so we will have to come back to this because we're old and a little sleepy.
Yeah. So we will finish this up next week and maybe give some limited thoughts.
Maybe. We'll see how much time we have, but we'll
see how froggy we get.
I will hopefully get some drafts in so I can continue the every other day limited content. I currently have no drafts in the queue, so I've got to do one tomorrow.
Okay.
Well, I had to do one on Tuesday for you to watch on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, all right. So with all this, I think we have a show.
We have a show that's to be continued.
To be continued.
Yep.
So if you want to reach out to us and maybe suggest some cards for red, green, and multicolor, like now's your chance. We already covered the first with the white, blue, and the black, but here's your chance to cover the to maybe get in the other ones.
The rest.
All those links are in the description, and they should mostly all work.
Mm-hmm. That is correct. If you're looking to support the show, there's a couple ways you can do it. The first is with our TCG Player affiliate link. Scroll back up here. CasualTryHard.com/TCG. That is the new correct link. Anything you purchase after following that link will help to support the show. We'll get a small percentage to help pay our bills. If you want to support us more directly, you can do so at patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG. Patrons get access to our show notes, so you kind of get a sneak peek about what the upcoming week's episode is going to be. Patrons also get access to our pre-show, where we kind of catch up for an hour or so, make sure all our equipment works every week, because sometimes our equipment doesn't work every week, and we got to make sure that we get the actual show out. So we record that for the patrons, and they get to tag along as we have our technical adventures. And also, patrons get put on my mailing list for when I have cool stuff to send out. Roughly every other month, I send something out to our patrons as a thank you. If any of that sounds good to you, or you just want to help to support the show, you can chip a couple bucks in at patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG.
Yeah. So, with all that, we'll catch you on the internets.
We'll catch you on the internets.